I've always been involved with lupus in any way that I can. But this particular scare did something to me, and I said, you know what, I have to talk about it. It's not just for people out there, it's also for myself. It's therapeutic for myself.
This is Giovanni with iHeartRadio, the Black
I like that.
Yes, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. So jumping right in, I want to start with the beginning of your journey with lupus. When were you diagnosed, and what symptoms did you experience that led to that diagnosis?
I was diagnosed in California, the state of California, at Cedars-Sinai. I've been living with lupus for more than 15 years. And I've had some serious complications, but it was kind of difficult for them to diagnose. I just remember not feeling my best often, and everything kind of has to line up. And the one doctor just said, let's just do some lupus panel testing. And it just lit up. So having it for 15 years, I've learned so many. I had no idea about the numbers. It's just staggering. I had no idea that African-American women and Asian women were 4 times more likely to develop lupus nephritis, and Hispanic and Native American women 2 times more likely, and 1 in 3 people with lupus nephritis will probably experience kidney failure and need dialysis or even a kidney transplant. I had no idea. So it's been an education for me. I'm sitting here talking about lupus, but I was not going to go to the doctors about a month ago. I had a really bad health scare. I was not going to go. And I went, something just made me go, and it saved my life. I would not be here having this interview with you today had I not gone to that appointment that day.
Wow. So how did you manage your symptoms while also managing your personal life and your career? How did that really affect things in your life?
It affects so many things in my life. I'm learning how to pace it. Some days I do great and other days I do lousy. But I have had to decide, you know what, Toni, stop trying to balance everything. Yeah, I can't balance it all the time. And I have to accept that it's not going to be balanced, and you just have to live in the now.
Yeah.
You have to be kind to yourself. It's really difficult for people to do, to be kind to yourself.
Mm-hmm. So this month being Lupus Awareness Month, can you speak on the Get Uncomfortable campaign and your involvement?
The Get Uncomfortable campaign, delighted to be a part of it because I didn't want to go to the doctors. I'm uncomfortable having those routine tests. You got to pee in a cup, tinkle in a cup. You got to get poked. You got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable because what it could do, it could save your life. And although peeing in a cup sucks, but kidney failure is way worse.
Mm-hmm. So I know you touched on this a little bit, but speaking specifically about Black and Hispanic women, why is this so important for them to be tuned into this campaign and to get tested?
The numbers are so high. I had no idea that lupus nephritis was so prevalent in the women of color community. I had no idea. And so, early diagnosis can change everything. And I know we don't have time because we take care of family and everyone else. So we tend to put ourselves on the back burner. But we have to start doing that, just 20 minutes for yourself, that annual doctor appointment. That's the only thing you can do. Like I said, maybe the day before your birthday, I'm going to go to the doctor's and make an appointment so I can just annually get myself checked out. We just take care of so many people, and we forget that we, as they say, put on the seatbelt first on the plane, put on the what's it called? The oxygen, put it on yourself first, and then you can help others. But as women and mothers, we hardly ever do that, but we have to start trying.
Right. Have you been able to connect with Nick Cannon or any others in the industry who also navigate both having lupus and their careers as well?
I have. Nick's a warrior. We talk. We used to be each other's warrior. Like if I got sick, I would reach out to him. And if he got sick, he would reach out to me. He's a family guy now, those beautiful babies. I'm so proud of him, how he's been able to navigate his illness with his talk shows and the things he's doing. And I'm sure he has good and bad days, he has told me, but I'm so proud of him because I know how difficult it can be to put that smile on some days when you're aching and just down inside. Your body's not listening to you. And I just commend him for doing all the wonderful things he's able to do.
And you kind of also touched on having to undergo heart surgery for a lupus complication that you had. So why did you feel that you needed to really open up about that instance specifically?
It was the scariest moment of my life. And if I could take that stigma away from people and help them, you got to pay it forward. I've been given this platform. Okay, I'm a singer. That's great. And I've always talked about lupus. I've always been involved with lupus in any way that I can. But this particular scare did something to me. And I said, you know what? I have to talk about it. It's not just for people out there. It's also for myself. It's therapeutic for myself.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for someone like Jamie Foxx, who's been undergoing his own medical complication of his own, of how to deal with something that's so private in public?
It's a choice. And I think when you're going through things, it's hard for you to be an advocate while you're going through it. Whatever, for me, I got through it. I made it through so I can talk about it. I think it's difficult for people who are in the now of their bodies. Like you mentioned, Jamie, I don't know what he's going through or what's going on in his life, but I would imagine right now he's trying to recuperate or recover. So it would be difficult for him to talk to someone about it because he's trying to see what's going on with his own body. Like me, myself, having lupus, when I was going through it, I would not want to talk about it. I wouldn't want to talk about on that hospital bed and what the doctors were doing. I had to get here, but it was a scary moment for me, and I want to share it because that community, my family, my friends, is having that support. Just knowing you're not alone it just seems like it aids in the healing process and the mental process with that.
Mm-hmm. If there's one thing that you would want the world to know about those who deal with lupus, what would you say?
We hide it. I don't think people know how much we hide it. We act like we're feeling great most of the time, and most of the time you are not. We've gotten so good at that mask of making people think that everything's okay. So people say, well, I didn't know that they were that ill. I had no idea. Because we've become very good actors and actresses, I've learned. But don't let anyone shame you. I had people who shamed me when I first found out I had lupus. Like, don't tell anyone. You'll never work again. Don't share this. Just live with it. But I found once I talked about it, it empowered me and it gave me the confidence that I needed. Okay, I have lupus, but it doesn't have me, and I can still work. Maybe not the way I once did, but I can still work. Actually, Toni's still in here. Toni's still here.
That's very powerful. Do you have anything else to add about Lupus Awareness Month, about the campaign, anything else?
I want them to go to www.getuncomfortable.com. It is a fabulous website. It is wonderful. It gives so much information. I had no idea about those numbers until I went to the website. I'm like, seriously? Looked and investigated, and it was like accurate. I found them one of the most informative of the lupus websites.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. And I'm happy to see that you're healthy, and I'm really grateful for our time.
Me too. Thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it more than you know.
Of course. You have a good day.
You too.
Bye.